Alright, doing a live video. So does draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com video presentation. So I figured I'll do another one of these videos from the rest of science. The rest is science. Just because they're crap and they get way too many views and it's just such fluffy nonsense. And somebody should tear it a new butthole because it's just garbage, frankly, and it's just embarrassing to be human. And God, I hate this planet. Yeah, it's just nothing nice to say about this crap. So anyway, so this one they've titled "What We Said to Aliens." So he never described what he was supposed to say about gravity, but I did watch the first 14 seconds of this. And they're going to say some kind of crap about how, oh, there must be life in the universe. And it's just crap. The whole Drake equation crap is just crap. I mean, there's so many barriers to getting to intelligent life form. You have to invent a neuron. It's the only kind of thing that makes brains. There's no other example of a brain made out of something other than neurons. To get the neurons, you have to get nucleic cells. That only happened one time. The first DNA molecule, the Eve molecule, is the only molecule that ever showed up that could turn into a cell. So no other molecule ever made it, even hidden in the bottom of the ocean. Didn't matter where we hide it. The whole frickin' planet is covered with amino acids, and yet no other DNA molecule figured out how to turn into a living thing. This whole description of what a living thing is, right? I mean, a paramecium is a lot different than a human being. You can call them both living, but they're not living in any way the same way, okay? It's all about the brain for us, and the body is just a vehicle to keep the brain working. And for them, it's just body. There is no brain. There's no adventure. There's no consciousness. There's no experience. There's none of that crap. And these are supposed to be scientists, for fuck's sake. It's just such crap.
In my heart, right, I think I would be very shocked if we were really alone.
If life is so likely to occur.
So it's just so likely. There's just every piece of evidence indicates it's insanely unlikely. Again, the Earth is just covered. Look at the ocean, right? Without the imported land mammals, the ocean's smartest thing is what? A frickin' shrimp? What's the smartest organism? I mean, they're not going anywhere. They've been doing the same shit for millions of years. For hundreds of millions of years, the Earth was ruled by frickin' lizards. I mean, something no better than. I mean, it's just bullshit.
In a universe as large as ours, why do we have no evidence of any intelligent life but ourselves? Why is no one talking to us? Are they avoiding us?
Well, we know that if we gave ourselves, let's say we gave ourselves 1,000 years from this point of technology, there seems every likelihood that we could cause a catastrophic amount of noise. We could do something to say, let's tell the rest of the universe we're here, let's blow up Jupiter or something like that. Let's make a huge sound, okay, that will vibrate us a little bit, but it won't knock us out, or something like that. But that's the real trick. It's really hard enough to make a loud enough sound. I mean, the theory of gravitational waves is dependent on this silly notion that you could create some sort of conversion of mass into bent space, some kind of nonsense, because they convert it into actual explosion, that anything near the event would be blown to bits, and we don't see that anywhere with these events. So obviously, it requires a kind of physics that just doesn't exist. So the fact is, it's really hard to make enough of a sound to get it to get all the way here. That's the trick of it. But the fact is if you make a little tiny sound, the fact is the great thing about the sound is you don't need much of a signal. You don't need much of a radio signal that has a signal in it, that is making a sound. So it works both ways. in the sense that you don't need many photons to reach us. We can see things where only a tiny number of photons actually are hitting our telescope. And so the fact is we can receive very weak signals. Just a fact.
Are we gross?
Do you know what? I think there's a new theory. They're out there. They saw that message coming for us, and they were like, these guys are just absolutely
Oh, so why don't they just talk about the real physics? The real physics is there's no wormholes, there's no hyperdrives, there's just no way to go any faster than the speed of light, and so we're billions of years too young or billions of years too old or something. But yeah, there's all kinds of reasons why you're not going to hear from anybody because no one knows you're there to call. They don't even know you have a phone.
bonkers. Let's stay the hell away.
So really it's just about a beacon of some kind, that frankly if you're highly advanced, you have some capacity to manipulate the matter around you, but the signal you send isn't timeless. It's going to take time to get to the rest of the universe. And probably by the time it does get to the rest of the universe, your sun has already exploded and you're extinct anyway. I mean, if it's out there, we're not going to talk to it. It just ain't going to happen. It sends a message. We get it 5 billion years later. Right? And we say hi. And it takes 5 billion years for it to go back to them. You think you're going to have a conversation with anybody? No chance. I mean, no civilization is going to ever think it's a great idea to send something into space because it requires some kind of preposterous, storage of the person's identity in a bottle or something, or some kind of crazy shit. And you got to reform the human when he shows up at the destination. So none of that's going to happen. So the only thing you could send is a probe, and the probe isn't going to do anything. It's not going to get there for 15 billion years. But yes, there's no probes crashing into the Earth, so obviously there's not a whole giant pile of probes out there. And again, they can't send any messages back home saying, oh, we found somebody. 10 billion years later, you tell us, oh, we found somebody. Yeah, well, no one's going to hear the message.
This episode is brought to you by Cancer Research UK.
Oh, not again. Oh. Ew. All right, so I have to wait till their shirts change color. Oh, God. Yuck. So it's bad enough you got commercials, but then they have the frickin' video ads. It's just so annoying. It's like Veritasium videos. They're unwatchable.
Welcome to The Rest is Science. This is...
Where the hell happened? What the fuck happened? I didn't do that. Wasn't my fault.
Is field notes, a sort of expedition diary, as it were, where Michael and I, we're going to trade on discovery.
So she is actually a mathematician, all right, and so she has a channel, gets a lot of views, and it's all crap. I mean, it's all short videos, most of them. I think she has like 6 regular length videos, and they're all on like how to knit a sweater or something. It's all crap. So yeah, I don't know why this is so popular. This crap.
Freeze on curiosities, on riddles or questions maybe that have tickled our minds.
Yes, well, no, what should tickle your mind is the idea that it takes 25 times the fuel to go 5 times as fast. That ought to tickle your mind, and you ought to be saying something like, what the fuck, we actually believe that? What are we, out of our fucking minds? How the fuck did we come up with that crap? 5 times the velocity is 25 times the work? Where? Where did that ever happen on Earth? Why don't you ask that tickly question? Shit. Morons.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm glad to be here, Hannah. So what are we going to explore today?
Well, okay, I think given that both of us essentially in our respective houses are effectively living in small museums of dedicated to science, small shrines, shall we say.
Oh, yeah, dedicated to a religion. That's all it is, a fucking religion. All right, started with Leibniz, and then Einstein just doubled down on bullshit, and that's all it is. It's a wooey, silly spooky action bullshit averse.
Dedicated to science. I thought we could start with the stuff that is very obviously in the back.
Yeah, very obvious is they've never repeated the Eddington experiment beyond the margin of error from Earth, and there's 400 times better resolution in space, and we've been in space for fucking 60 years, and they've never even attempted the experiment, even though it's 400 times easier to do. 400 times, not 4 times, not 40 times, 400 times easier to do. It only takes 5 minutes, and you don't need an eclipse. And yet we've never even attempted it from space. That should tickle your fucking scientific mind. It should say, what the fuck is that about? I mean, how the fuck can you avoid doing this really great experiment when you have this really great opportunity to do it from this really great perspective where it's 400 times easier to do? Why the fuck wouldn't you do it? Oh, that's right, because it doesn't work. That's why you don't do it. You've done it. You found out, hey, it didn't happen. It didn't work. Well, I guess we won't publish because no one wants to hear that it didn't work. They only want to hear about when it does work.
Background. And I noticed that you've got the Arecibo message up on your wall.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we certainly can. And so you might be at home. This is my office. I'm going to move my desk so we can observe these two big posters. These are representations of the Arecibo message, which were made, like I had these made for an episode of Mindfield. I think the best way to explain them is that they are messages that we humans sent to outer space for aliens to potentially find and read back in 1974. They were sent...
Right, so all of this gibberish, when you could just draw a picture like, the hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics could be really cool if they just drew more rational pictures, right? Instead of fucking dog-headed people and spooky ooky, they could just draw a picture of dragging the big giant cement block with the ropes on it and the little wheels, logs they're rolling it across. They could just draw a picture of it, right? So that's all we'd have to do is draw a picture. Penis, vagina, hump, hump. There, that's what we live for. Baby pops out. Yeah, we're not very imaginative. We don't do really much else on this planet, right? Except fantasize about, rubbing uglies.
From the Puerto Rican Arecibo telescope, which is no longer in existence.
Yeah, it exists. It's just got a lot of plants and trees growing in it.
And the messages are still not even close to where we shot them at. Even though they're traveling at light speed, they were shot at the M13 cluster of stars, 25,000 light years away. So it's going to take basically 25,000 more years for them to reach that cluster. But if there's any intelligent life out there listening for radio waves, they'll get not this nice color picture. They'll get something more like this black and white one, which is actually, if you look closely, a series of ones and zeros. So it's binary. It's a pulse and then no pulse. It's, pulse, pulse, pulse. It's just on and on.
Right. And so if there was anybody to talk to, we know they'd already be sending that because they'd already have their own fucking radio telescope. So obviously there's no point in talking to that planet because it's probably just got sharks on it. And sharks don't have telescopes.
Off. And there's exactly 1,679 pulses. Now, as a mathematician, what's special about that number?
That is, just off the top of my head, and not because I know about the Arecibo message before, of course. I know
that's like the square root of something.
That is two prime numbers multiplied together.
Oh my gosh!
This is the idea of Carl Sagan, right? Carl Sagan and...
Oh, yeah, so she already knows all this stuff. I had to search my brain to figure out that he was the one who made the little gold record that we put on the fucking lunar module, too, and we put on those fucking things that, took pictures of Jupiter. Voyager has the little record on it. The little golden record.
And Frank Drake.
Yeah, Drake.
Yeah, Drake equation. Right. So, again, I don't think he invented any of this record crap. He just invented the silly notion that let's figure out how probable or improbable life is. We'll just make up fucking numbers because that's what we do. We just make up silly, crappy numbers. Oh, there's a 1 in 10 chance that the cell eats another cell and it survives and becomes a nucleic cell. Yeah, it's 1 in 10. Yeah, I just made it up. I mean, it's such horse shit.
Ike and Sagan worked on this, as well as, let me tell you the names of everyone involved: Richard Isaacman, Linda May, and James C.
All right, so a great list of wooey wishful thinkers, gooey humanist buttholes, thinking we're going somewhere. Oh, this is so exciting. We're gonna watch porn in the lunar module. Yeah, just too ridiculous, right? Go to another planet to sit in a little tiny box and do what? But smell your own ass.
J. Walker, along with Carl Sagan, they said, hey guys, we could send a message with this telescope. We could just shoot some radio waves out somewhere, and, what should it say? What should a message from Earth be? And that's what they came up with.
So why did they pick something that was two prime numbers multiplied together? I mean, they're very clever sausages, these two. These two people, you would think there's something good going on.
Well,
yeah, no, it's just nerdy crap. That's all it is. Nerdy crap.
it might be too clever by half, as they say. That's why I had these posters made. We gave the message, not as a poster, but as a series of on and offs, as a bunch of bits, to a whole bunch of groups of mathematicians, college students. And we just told them, crack the code, figure out what this is. Actually, I think we told them, this message has been received by a telescope operated by SETI, the search for...
Oh, yeah, so you lied to them, and they believed you. They believed you that this crap was actually sent. Yeah, fuck you. They believed you. Oh, God, this is such crap science. Oh, yeah, we walked up to a bunch of students and told them, yeah, we got an alien message, and we're going to ask you to crack the code, because we don't have any crack coders. Yeah, we can't find any. Oh, shit. Yeah, why don't we go ask a dog to describe what the hell the message is, and see what the dog reacts. Maybe it's dog code. Maybe only dogs, yeah, maybe it's like a Star Trek thing where only the whales are telling us what the fuck is going on, right? The alien probe comes all the way across space to go talk to a whale. It says what? Fish, fish. Me, fish, fish. Fish, fish, fish. Yum, yum. Oh, it's probably shrimp, shrimp, right? Or something like that. Fuck.
Extraterrestrial life. Is it a message, and what does it say? And none of them were able to figure it out. This was for an episode of Mindfield, the psychology show I did. But being the product of two prime numbers means that 1,679 is pretty special. We also...
Who cares? So nobody's going to care. They're just saying, what is the picture? What's a picture of? What is the picture supposed to... What information have you hidden in these bits of information? Oh, shit.
also call it semi-prime, if you're the product of two prime numbers. And when you notice that, you go, man, the only number that goes into 1,679 are 23 and 73. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that,
yeah.
If you're the product of two prime numbers, you only have two factors?
Yeah, it's
and that's only in base 10, right? I don't even know what, this whole number thing is a little tricky. But whatever. Continuing. I mean, two-ness is two-ness, regardless of where you put it, right? Four-ness is four-ness. So, whatever.
absolutely true.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you might think, well, let me arrange these pulses into a grid that's 23 by 73. So if you do that with 23 columns and 73 rows, a picture emerges, a visual picture of squiggles and lines. One of them, right there.
Right, so they could figure that out, right? You could just send the code as a straight line, and they could just try it in different squares to see what the picture is. So you don't need to have a specific number because they'll just randomly find it. Not a huge challenge, frankly.
Shown here more.
They'll know to figure out that the one-dimensional message can be seen in two dimensions. They'll figure that part out.
Easy to see in red, looks like a little stick figure drawing of a person. A very pixelated human body. If you, however, arrange these pulses as 73 columns and 23 rows, it makes no sense at all. And you would just throw it away.
Oh,
You'd say it's
really?
noise. I know. So you have to not only recognize the semi-prime nature of 1679, you also have to arrange it properly.
So you don't have to like I said, it was just, you're going to randomly try all of those things. You're going to sit there and say, look, it's a linear message. I can't do anything with that. The first logical thing I'm going to do is try to make an image out of it. How do you make an image? Well, you make it two-dimensional. So you just try 10 across. Okay, I got nothing. 11 across, nothing. 12 across, 15. You just wait till you hit the magic number across, and all of a sudden it'll be an image. Duh. I mean, this is like vector graphics or something. This is something, yes, the aliens will be able to figure it out.
But once you do that, it looks really non-random. It looks like it has some meaning to it, okay? Now, it does have meaning, and the meaning is almost comical, the way they tried to use just 1679 pulses to say a lot about us. The white stuff at the top here is the same as what you see here in the binary representation. It's ones and zeros. And if you use the ones, if you imagine the ones are the information and the zeros are the background, you can color code it like this black one here, which is a black poster with a bunch of colored squares on it that have been color coded to differentiate all the information. I'm kind of describing this to people who are just listening.
Right, so how do you have all that information in that binary signal, though? How does it know to change the color? Whatever.
At the top, you've got what looks like a bunch of white confetti, and that's actually the numbers 1 to 10 in binary. But there's like not enough room up here, so they had to do 2 columns for all the numbers over 7.
So why would you even bother with that, right? When oneness, two-ness, three-ness, four-ness works so well, why would you put it in binary and assume that binary is explicit? But when this is very explicit, 1, 2, 3, I mean, that's really explicit.
And so to make it clear that the 2-columned sections are their own number, the bottom row is like a bullet point. So that's why 1 is 2 dots. Right. It's actually a bullet point, meaning, okay, here's one number, 1. And then they've got another bullet point, here's 2. And then 2 is a blank spot, and then a 1, a 0, and then a 1. So, okay, we're doing this like binary counting thing.
So hang on, so because I didn't know this about the binary bit at the top, I just was like, there's numbers. Okay, fine. I never looked into it that deeply. But
I think she has a math degree.
Okay, so thus far, even if you are lucky enough to be from the same planet as this message was sent, even if you have the same counting system, the same concept of prime numbers as these students did, even if you know what binary numbers are, you still also then have to decode this weird extra pattern that they put in where they punctuated each one of the numbers.
That's right. You also need to understand the concept of a bullet point system. Now, personally...
So it's really dumb. So you're just saying, okay, so it just points out how this nerdy science is just so fucking useless because they've got their, slide rule way up their asses, and they have no idea that the idea is to actually communicate. Yeah. And that you have to start off really simple, like you're talking to an animal. You have to, sort of rub their nose in it, so to speak. Rub their nose in what we are. Animals.
I think that if we got a message like this, we would all work on it together. Like, everyone would come up with so many different ideas. I feel like we might figure it out, or at least someone would. Whether we all believe them or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's...
Well, why don't you give it to a real scientist type instead of a student and see if he can decipher it? And if he can't decipher it, then fuck, you've really failed, haven't you?
It's almost hilarious how hard it is to decode. this purple shape, okay, which follows next, which also, by the way, not only do you have to have the same number system and you have to be able to detect radio waves of this frequency and you have to find out that it's semi-prime, you also need to read top to bottom.
So we know the frequency thing we're already capable. That's not a complex thing either. Everybody's got that. They might even have technology where they can receive, 400 frequencies at the same time, and see if there's a signal in any of them.
And left to right. Except the binary numbers are actually written bottom to top above their bullet point. Now, the purple represents the elements that life on Earth is made out of. So it's got the numbers 1, 6, 7, 8, and 15 all kind of crunched together. And those are the atomic numbers of hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. Okay.
So that's really a waste, that they would have some idea that you're going to give the main chemical composition of your body. I mean, that's just too fucking silly. So you just start with hydrogen and then helium. Maybe just do electron, proton, neutron. Okay, something simpler.
So we don't tell you that these are atomic numbers or that these are elements or anything. It's just that you're supposed to think, what's important about 1, 6, 7, 8, and 15? Well, if you have chemistry on your alien planet, you might say, well, maybe they're made out of that stuff. I don't know.
Another big reach. So it's not even written in, regular code. The one, oneness, two-ness. It's not even visible numbers. You have to do this binary thing, and then you're supposed to know that the binary thing means something when they're essentially random numbers. I mean, it's just so stupid to think that somebody's going to decipher that. I mean, I guess they never tested this thing, right? So they just made this shit up, and they never tested to see if anybody could read this piece of crap. It's just, again, just proving how the science doesn't have any connection to reality. It's just nerdy crap.
Stuff are the nucleotides that are in our bodies, represented again by numbers representing the atomic numbers of the elements in each nucleotide. Then here,
So again, just this assumption that their DNA molecule or their molecule that evolved into, that had the capability of reproducing, was somehow a DNA molecule. Like there isn't some other possible molecule that actually could do this split in half thing and reshape itself. When I think there probably is such a molecule.
blue squiggle is the shape of DNA.
Sure it is.
Kind of. It's the double helix.
Oh, that's pathetic. It's just pathetic. I mean, it has no bars. It has no rungs to the ladder. I mean, it's just, again, too. I mean, this really is ridiculous that they went to all this trouble. The only thing that makes any sense is drawing the little human figure with the brain. They should have put little sparklies around the brain, and the fact that it has a body. And that's what we are, brain, body. I mean, maybe even just show an integrated circuit as a schematic for electronics.
And the white line in the middle of them, it's not a line, it's a cluster of, it's two columns of white squares with some black spaces in between them. That's the binary representation of the number 4.3 billion.
So absolutely no point, right? I mean, it's just to assume that they're going to get your binary crap.
Which is how many base pairs the human body has? No.
Oh,
no. It's how many we thought the human body had in 1974. It turns out it's more like 3.2 billion. So it's also got misinformation about the human body.
Wow.
There is something very cool about this, though.
I mean, it's just amazing. Why would somebody think that that would be a relevant thing to say when you're just introducing yourself? I should walk up to a dog and go, 468 billion. Get me? Not gonna get me. You're gonna bite me in the nuts.
If we keep going down, you see, here's a picture of what humans look.
There you go. That's it. That's all you need is that, and then the next image you put in the next image you put the woman, and
like
just
so the
biological machines doing the reproducing thing. That's the big thing we do. That's why we continue to be here, is because they do that reproducing thing.
aliens can go, wow, that's what their bodies are. They've got like 4 appendages and a little ball at the top of a torso. And then over here, there's a big cluster of white squares, and that is a way to represent in binary the population of the Earth.
Oh, too silly again. Like some ambiguous number. So they're supposed to be able to figure out this one in the middle is some genetic number, and this is supposed to be some population number that would be so irrelevant because it's constantly changing. I mean, what's the point of that? What's the point of it? Why would they send how many people there are on Earth? Why would they waste this opportunity to say hello on telling them how many people are on Earth? It's just too silly. Are we going to tell them how many horseflies are on Earth? I mean, it's just waste. It's just not, this is all they could think of, right? So this is how meaningless and stupid life is that when they're going to write an important message to say hello to an alien, this is the crap they think of that might be interesting, when it's not even close to interesting. Amazing bullshit. All right, let's see if there's any chatters. Oh, we do have some. Okay, let's see what we got here. Right. Gary is so much better than Vsauce. Well, I'm better at doing rational physics. I don't know what it is, but I hate the way this girl talks. Well, I'm starting to hate her. Chicks are hard to hate, but whatever. Yeah, but think of all the cool technology, bro. I hate broers. I know I'll use... Why are you typing in caps, by the way, fuckhead? I'll use it to scroll on social media all day and waste my life, but dude, okay, I really hate dude shit. I hate bro shit, so you can just go fuck off for a while. Like 24 hours at least. Fuck you, fatty. It's just so fucking useless. God, I hate meaningless mush. Fuck. Uncle Ted was right. I don't know what that means. I have a far better beard than Vsauce. Well, you're not winning in my book. Beards are for hiding. They're really... Unless it's well styled, okay, it's just Arkansas. It's just bum. It's like stupid fuck. It's like Muslim loony. It's not a good thing. I wouldn't fuck you. Alright, LOL, it's like the most soy boy bread ever. Beard ever. Soy boy. Whatever that means. Yes, he's like the embodiment of an... I don't know what that is. Redditor. I don't know what that is. Redditor. Bing, 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 bing. He's a deliverance. Okay. So anyway, just thanks for being way off the subject, people. Really appreciate it. You're such an asset. I just don't know what I would do without commenters. They're just so vital to the function of the channel. I mean, you're just so fucking enlightening and inspiring. It's like, oh, what would I do without these wonderful muses? No, I think I'd do pretty damn good without them. Anyway, continuing.
In 1974, how many of these little creatures there are. And funny enough, in 1974, the number of people we believe to exist was almost exactly the same as the number of base pairs we thought were in the human body. 4.3 billion.
Which are both now wrong.
Yeah, so they're wrong. One was wrong all the time. One was only temporarily right. There are many more than 4.3 billion people now. The blue line is just a stack of squares interrupted by a horizontal line of white squares. The blue squares represent that we're talking about the height of the person.
Oh, brother. I mean, you just can't imagine. Imagine, these are people who were deliberately trying to think what is the essence of humanity. And this is the best they could come up with. We have this giant brain doing all of this abstract thinking. And instead of, like, showing how we are brain enabled and we have technology and we can talk to you and blah, blah, blah. No, they're just talking shit about abstract elements of our existence. It's just too fucking stupid. Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little because this is really not very interesting. Yeah, this is really not very interesting. So it's just a little bit sped up.
And the binary number here is the height of a typical person. Okay.
When you say person, though, are we talking man? I mean, this was 1970s.
That physical height is 5 feet 9 inches is what's being represented, which is the height of, drumroll, an average man.
Average American man, no less.
It could be an average human man. I don't know in 1974 what the average global male height was, but I guess aliens will know what we told them. Now, you can't see the rest of the image because there's a big chest in the way. But underneath there's some yellow. I'm going to move it up. And the yellow represents our sun and all the planets in the solar system. And the third one is raised up a little bit higher because that's the one we live on. It has a special position. I'll pick it up and bring it closer so you can see.
Oh, very exciting.
So, okay, from left to right, you've got the sun and each of the planets. Presumably, the number of dots represents how big the planet is, roughly?
That's right, Hannah. So the gas giants are represented by more than one square. I can't actually hold this high enough without hitting my ceiling. But we're almost done because then, oh my gosh.
Well, hold on a second, though, because hang on, you've got Pluto on there as a blob on the right, which is also now incorrect. Pluto no longer considered a planet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's too ridiculous, right? Just too ridiculous to say Pluto's not a planet when it's got a fucking moon. Oh, fuck. I mean, too ridiculous.
So imagine if the aliens not only read in the same way that we did, understood the bullet point system, used binary, understood semi-primes, they also have to have the same astronomical definition of a planet that we have. Because imagine if they saw these yellow dots, right? And they were like, well, maybe those are planets, and they found our solar system, and they looked at Pluto and said, yeah, but Pluto hasn't cleared its orbit. So clearly we're looking in the wrong solar system. We need one that has 9 planets, not 8. And then finally at the bottom, there's a picture of it's supposed to be a picture of the Arecibo telescope.
I don't cleared its orbit? What the fuck does that even mean? It orbits just fine. What the hell are they talking about?
The device that sent this message, the M shape represents the fact that it's a concave structure. Then the numbers at the very bottom, I don't even know what they're supposed to represent. Let me see if I can figure that out.
Can I tell you my 2 favorite things about the RCB message?
Yeah.
Based on what you've shown us. So the thing is, right, Frank Drake, Carl Sagan, like these big dogs of space and communication with,
Drake wasn't a big dog of any kind. No one even ever heard of him until Carl Sagan mentioned him. So, what the fuck? The Drake equation is just the silliest fucking... It's not science. It's a fucking wish list.
sciences and so on. These like really, really, really cool, amazing people in history.
Oh, bullshit. Just amazing nonsense. Ugh.
And I love the idea that they're like, right, we're going to send this message out to aliens, and it's going to include this representation of like hydrogen and carbon and like DNA and a flattened double helix and a representation of all the people on Earth. And then, they probably said that in a meeting somewhere, and then this is what they came up with. And it's like, I mean, even as someone who understands all of those things, the great beauty of all of those scientific kind of, entities of like humanity and the planet, the 1970s pixelated graphics are just not really doing it for me. It's just this great wonder and awe, and then this absolutely, completely rubbish image. Like A for effort, F for execution. My other favorite thing about...
So what's the A for effort, though? There's no effort to, in any way, represent the fact that we're just bugs, and all the other planets are making bugs, and it's just bugs. There's nothing else to make. It's these little need machines built out of an obsession with consuming energy, and reproducing, and that's the machine.
The Arecibo message, though, is that it just kind of rounds everything off, I think. As you mentioned, they were aiming this message. You can't broadcast it to the entirety of the universe because that would just take way too much energy. So they very deliberately aimed it at this like little cluster of stars on kind of a corner of the Milky Way. And as
I don't know what the point of arguing this aiming crap. The message is always one size. They can't change the shape of the telescope. They can't aim it. Shit. I mean, you have to aim it to some extent, but I mean, I'm just saying there's a center where the signal's the strongest. So yeah, you point it where you're the person who's the closest. But you can't just, duh.
you said, it's like 20-odd thousand light years away. And so unfortunately, by the time that this message reaches that spot, 21,000, 25,000 light years time, those stars will have moved. So we are essentially broadcasting this nonsense message that is impossible to decode. Even when you decode it properly, it's just a pile of pixelated junk.
Well, it won't move. It won't move enough. So, you can say it'll move, but it really won't be moving enough.
To nothing. So,
oh, no, wait.
I
never thought about that. So it's like shooting a moving target. You need to shoot ahead of it.
Right, which they didn't do.
Now, the North Star has been in the same place for thousands of years. I mean, it doesn't go someplace. It's not going anywhere. So stars don't fly all over the place. That's not a thing that's happened. So, I mean, the Crab Nebula, I guess, the residue from an exploding star, a nova. So it got created while humans were playing here. So you can make some new thing, okay? But the old things don't disappear.
Well, in 25,000 years, how far will that cluster have moved? Surely at least some fringe stars will still be in range.
Maybe. I think in general, though, neat idea, terrible execution.
It's just too ridiculous. The beam from the antenna isn't that focused. It's not a laser beam.
Michael, that's what I'm giving.
I think you're right in how you graded it. It gets an A for effort. And it gets an F for execution, but I think this is all about effort. This is not for aliens. This is for us. It's an exercise in, how do we describe...
self-aggrandizing bullshit, or whatever it is. It's an exercise in showing just how full of shit human beings are, that they think this other crap is important, and they can't even get to the essence of our struggle here. What it is to be a living organism, and how to deal with death and pain and grief. Glib fuckers. Oh, they'll show us the way. The glib fuckers will show us the way.
Ourselves at the most basic level to a completely different intelligent life form. And we can think this is poorly done, but, that encourages us to try to do better. Oh my gosh, it's going to crush me. I'm going to put this back away. For completeness, I want to say that the squares at the very bottom represent the dimensions of the Arecibo telescope. Okay, I'm going to put this back on the wall before it hurts somebody.
There we go. From top to bottom, incomprehensible binary numbers. You've got incomprehensible atomic numbers. You've got nucleotides. No, that one's sort of all right. You've got a flattened double helix. You've got incorrect information about the number of molecules in the human body. Incorrect population data.
Yeah, and so the least they could have done, right, is put a 1 and then a binary, and then 2 and then binary 2, and then a 3 and a binary 3. 3 little lines, binary. 4 little lines, binary. Then maybe they could decode binary. But, binary is only useful if you want to make really big numbers, in a small space, but it's not going to be very useful for anything else.
Incorrect solar system information and a telescope that doesn't exist. Hey!
You're welcome, aliens.
What about the reverse, though? I mean, because we have turned on telescopes to try and hear whether there were any messages coming back. And as of yet, we haven't found anything.
No, we haven't. I played my part for a long time. I lent my computer's processing power to SETI, using SETI at home, where they process all the radio and probably other light form information they receive from their telescopes to try to find patterns, messages sent like these, not from us, but from potentially extraterrestrials.
Yeah, SOS, anything, just ... some sort of non-natural sequence of information.
And I remember distinctly living in New York and going, I want to use my computer's downtime for a purpose. And the two things I could do were SETI at home or mine Bitcoin. And I chose listening for aliens, and I found none.
How long ago was this that you made this choice between SETI?
This would have been in like 2008, 2009.
Oh, so there were still a lot of Bitcoins out there to be mined.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, you could have been a squillionaire.
And I think there are still a lot of aliens out there to be found, but they're harder to find than the Bitcoins were 12 years ago or more.
Which actually was a bit of a surprise. I mean, there were some people who thought that once we turned on SETI, once we started listening, there would be a cacophony of sounds. There would be, countless other life forms out there who had sent out messages like the Arecibo message, just waiting for us to tune in and hear. And there was nothing. Radio silence.
Nothing. Yeah, we seem to be very alone. And that raises the question of why? Like, if life is...
So again, it's not that hard a question to answer if you just recognize that we are lying in this field of body parts. I mean, if you were a Frankenstein, you want to build a monster, you almost just have to throw some in a jar and shake it and you have your monster. It's that easy to make this shit on this planet, and it doesn't happen. So obviously the circumstances that are the spark of invention are as unlikely as rolling your Yahtzee dice and having them all stack on top of each other with the same number. It's not something that happens all the time. It happens very rarely, and there's more than one of those very rare events that had to take place. Only one neuron. All this time, all this evolution, 100 million years, 200 million, 300 million years of evolution, and the neuron only happened once. There's only one kind of neuron, one kind of brain cell. They're all related to the same Eve neuron.
So likely to occur in a universe as large as ours, why do we have no evidence of any intelligent life but ourselves? In fact, no evidence of life of any kind except Earth life. And do you have your favorite answer to that question? I can run through some of the classic ones.
The classic one would be the DNA molecule needs other molecules to reproduce. It, in fact, does. It needs to be cut in half. Okay, and then it needs to be in an environment where the right stuff sticks to it, not the wrong stuff. So it needs to be in an environment that's filtered to keep a bunch of arsenic and other kinds of molecules from sticking to it.
Aren't my favorite. Yeah. One is that there's some kind of great filter. That basically, in our universe, when life becomes intelligent enough,
intelligent enough. There's the intelligence is about the basic game, the fucking maze. That's all there is. There's a maze. And all the intelligence could do is like you did. It can colorize the walls, and it could paint fish on it. It could do something, but it's the basic mechanism of striving, seeking machine. That's all we're ever going to be, is striving, seeking machine. There's nothing else. My brain's looking for problems to solve. That's it. And the problems are basically, I don't feel right, so I have to go find something to make me feel right.
It inevitably destroys itself.
I mean, this whole question is called the Fermi paradox, right? So Fermi, who was actually a big part of the Manhattan Project in building...
So again, that's a whole different subject of what the fuck an alien would be, and why the fuck would aliens be out looking for food? Oh, let's go out in the universe and find hamburgers. Yeah, we have the technology to build a device to travel in the universe. And what are we going to do with that huge, giant technology? Is make a hamburger? I thought we could just make that without any technology at all. Why do we need... the technology to travel in space is a lot more demanding than the technology to find a hamburger.
In the nuclear bomb. But he was like, there seems like so much opportunity for life to exist, and yet there's no observational evidence of it at all. How is it possible that those two things can coexist? And then Drake came up with this equation to try and quantify how many potential life forms there
are. So it's no equation. So again, just to talk about it as if this has something to do with science, when it just has something to do with just making shit up. Completely bullshit. Just let's just let's roll dice and see what the number is, and then say that's the odds. It's that bullshit. It's that unscientific.
He kind of breaks it down piece by piece by piece by piece, but he has this final term in it, which is about the length of time that an intelligent civilization can last for before effectively taking itself out. I don't know whether I buy that.
So again, yes, all this bullshit, blah, 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 blah. When obviously the solution to all of the problems is to basically just have a synthetic life, okay, live inside your iPhone, all right, and have that control what you feel, and therefore you don't have to worry about being tormented and tortured.
That one. But it certainly feels like it a bit these days, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it seems like maybe once you've got nuclear weapons,
which he was very concerned about, of course.
Of course. It's only a matter of time before a species eradicates itself. And so, sure, intelligent life has formed all over the universe. It's just that they don't last very long to overlap and meet each other because there's something they do wrong. They mishandle nuclear weapons or weapons of similar strength. They mishandle something about space exploration, about
nanotechnology, viruses, other biological style type weaponings and such. Yeah. They invent anti-hydrogen, okay, and it eats all the hydrogen in the universe.
trying to harvest energy from their sun. Who knows? It could be that the universe is teeming with intelligent life, but it's more like we live in a zoo. They're all watching us, but they don't make themselves known.
Oh, so that is such a lame concept. I mean, they wouldn't be watching us, they'd be probing, okay, and that's the best they could do. They're not going to send aliens here. Who would do that? That's just dumb. Musk? Yeah, Elon Musk might do that, but no one else would.
They enjoy watching to see how we get on our own, or maybe they have a prime directive. Don't interact.
Oh God, this is so bad. Ew, ew. This is like bad sci-fi movies or something. It's just so bad.
Don't say hello until they reach a certain level of technological sophistication.
But then there's the other option, which is that actually maybe we were just all really far away from each other. Yeah. Like as demonstrated by the Arecibo message, we tried to send a message out to aliens, and
Right, so that's the one you should figure out right from the start. Is you have absolutely no good scientific reason to believe you could ever move matter anywhere near the speed of light and stay in one piece, and so there's just no hope of a snowball's chance in hell of throwing a snowball to another planet. It ain't gonna happen.
managed to point it to what is effectively, a model village in another country. It's like shining a torch rather than like broadcasting a message. And it's incredibly difficult to build technology that will successfully be received by other life forms. But ultimately, I think once it comes down to it, you are talking about something that is incredibly, incredibly unlikely, the chance of life itself, and you're sort of multiplying it by something that is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly large, right? The number of opportunities for life in the universe. So who knows? You could be anywhere between, life nowhere, life everywhere, or like a small handful. I think like...
No, you can draw the conclusion that life can't be everywhere, because then it would be sending out signals that you could receive. So it's obviously not everywhere. It's obviously not thriving in the universe.
In my heart, right, I think I would be very shocked if we were really alone.
Oh, brother, in my heart. You mean in the skanky, wooey, sillier parts of your brain. Not in your heart. Ugh.
The universe is old enough, there's enough stars, there's enough planets around those stars at the right distance to have liquid water, and there's been enough time for life that started there to become intelligent. Given all of that, though, why is the sky so silent? Why is no one talking to us? Are they avoiding us? Are we gross? Does intelligent life...
We're already there. He's saying the same shit again. Yeah, I didn't fuck it up. He's repeating the same line. He already said that gross shit. Yes, you are pretty gross. I have to concede. I would not rush to Earth. Ooh. Bing, 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 bing. Oh, no, I don't want to go there. Oink, oink.
Life inevitably destroy itself once it gets nuclear weapons or weapons of a suitable strength? Do they mismanage their growth to other star systems, and do they mismanage the way they get energy from, say, their own stars?
Do you know what? I think there's a new theory. Having looked at the Arecibo message again, I think I've got a new theory, which is that they're out there. They saw that message coming for us, and they were like, these guys are just absolutely bonkers. Let's stay the hell up.
Oh yeah, like that would happen. Like they wouldn't understand evolution, right? They'd have to have evolved, right? They're not made by a god, so they had to evolve also. And they have now figured out how to do this technology thing, and you think they're going to be somehow substantially different in their function than we are. Like somehow it would matter if the first thing that got intelligent was a Tyrannosaurus or a great white shark. That somehow they couldn't figure out how to stick their pinky out, to drink their tea and to do these little sophisticated things. Of course, they would figure all of that crap out. They wouldn't be in any other position than we are in. So it wouldn't matter what the organism is that gets the intelligence. It's going to do the same thing with it. It's going to try to understand its function. And it's going to understand doing good versus doing bad. And it's going to figure out that, well, we're supposed to be doing the good thing. Yeah, good is good. Bad is bad. Put that in in binary. Smiley face. Yeah, maybe smiley face. Would they understand smiley face? Okay, probably not. So you have to come up with some other way to emphasize good and bad. That should be on that piece of paper somewhere, is the concept of the negative and the positive. The value of the difference between good and bad.
Away. I think
broken and unbroken. That would be a way of describing it, right? You could show something and then show it broken into pieces and say good is fixed, bad is broken.
Strongly suspect that might be what was going on.
Yeah, we're sending out basically horror movies to outer space. I think, honestly, for me, for the last few years, I've just felt like more and more convinced that we are alone, that the universe is not old enough for intelligent, sentient, conscious life to be plentiful.
So we know it doesn't take long, right? Once you've established the 300 million year thing or whatever, once you have the brain-enabled organism. So it didn't take all that long to get to brain-enabled. And the question is how do you get from brain-enabled to being language-capable? And so that's the only thing. That's the barrier, the part that had to just show up. Boom. The alligator's been around a long time. How come it doesn't get any smarter? Is the question. So that's the unique event that you're waiting on. And you could wait 100 million years. You could wait 100 billion years. You could have the ocean. It's always been the ocean. The best the ocean has done is whatever, octopus. That's the best it could do. In the whole history of life, that's the best it could make, was an octopus. Well, an octopus ain't going to build a radio telescope.
I think that in a billion years, I think that when the universe is just full of little blue dwarf stars that have long lives, there'll be a better chance for life to grow. But I think that we are...
So he actually thinks that the universe is going to deteriorate into a bunch of little blue stars. He thinks the energy is all disappearing when gravity's remaking it every fucking millisecond. They just don't get the thermodynamics at all. They really don't understand that obviously the universe doesn't have an entropy problem. It's clumping all over the goddamn place. It's not falling apart.
The ancients. I think we are the first or among the very first intelligent, conscious creatures in the universe.
Well, okay, we might be alone in the universe, but here on Earth we are very much not alone, because we have got some questions from our listeners, a little mailbag bit, which is going to come up in a moment after the break.
So we're going to have a mail thing. So I wonder where I can put my mail in. Yeah. Why are you so douchey? This is like the shit sandwich and giant douche show.
Well, welcome back from the break. I hope you're refueled and ready to go, because we thought we would try something with Field Notes. We thought that we would have sort of like a mailbag, you know, like an old school radio show mailbag where you can send us in things. They can be objects, they can be ideas, they can be questions, and we can, you know, spend a little bit of time examining them. So this week we've got a couple of questions that have come in that we're going to use for the purposes of our mailbag.
Can the
First one
aliens
comes in from
understand
Tony,
it?
who asks, can an expert tell the difference between a natural diamond and a lab-made diamond? And do they have different commercial?
Oh, duh. I mean, this is, no, let's not even bother with this, right? I mean, I can't even read the question. It's white on whatever that color is. Almost white. It's just hilarious. Yeah, that's not working. Okay, that's like me drawing, right? I could draw on here and, you know, it's not going to work. Oh, God. This is supposed to be a show. All right, well, this answer, I don't even... Yeah, of course they can tell the difference between a fake diamond and a real diamond. You can tell any one real diamond has its own fingerprint, essentially.
Lines, etc. So lab-grown diamonds are basically way more perfect, and therefore, I think, boring.
Yeah, right. They're just...
Oh, boring. It's just boring. Oh, yeah, they make more sparkly, and they're you know, better for jewelry, but fuck, they're boring because they're not real. Fuck.
that gets trapped in them while they're made. And it costs quite a bit more to get that nitrogen removed so they become clear diamonds. And we didn't do that for the subscription box, but we are going to go ahead and make a version with crystal clear diamonds. But this runs for a minute, and it's, a minute
of diamond dust.
A minute of diamond dust. And this whole thing costs like $10 to make.
I have quite strong opinions on diamonds. I think diamonds as jewelry, right? Like, especially like whopping great big diamond rings. I'm not into it, but maybe that's one for another episode. Shall I give you another question? Okay. James R asks, which scientific discovery of the last 25 years will have the most positive impact on humanity going forwards?
All right. So what science? Well, Gary, draft science. Yeah. He fixed all the bullshit. Took all the bullshit out. Gave you nice, easy to understand model. Little force bits. Really simple. So that's going to be the greatest in the last 25 years. They just don't know yet that happened in the last 25 years. So they won't know for another 25 years that the best thing that happened during this 25 years was this.
Got a candidate?
Yeah, I mean, my answer is pretty quick. I think it's going to be fusion. I think...
fusion is just ain't going to happen. Sorry. Again, the very idea that they don't really get this idea that fusion is compressing, it's putting things together. Putting things together takes energy. It takes energy to push things together. You make energy by releasing things. So what the sun is really doing is it's breaking protons. Protons are being ripped apart. That's where you're getting your energy from in the sun, is it's breaking neutrons into electrons and protons and then building hydrogen. Starting over, essentially. You're not making helium. I mean, you're making helium, but you're making everything. Okay, a whole bunch of it. You're making lithium. You're making lots of other elements. But you're also burning them up all the time, too. So both they're being created and then they're being destroyed based on where they swirl in the mush. Okay, but that's all that's happening. It's a really hostile environment, and that's what you need to smash things together, and that's what you need to rip things apart. So it's constantly reshaping, just like a hot surface is pushing. You got hot water, it pushes molecules of water into the atmosphere, and then those water molecules hit and go back into water again. And they just keep wishing and washing back and forth because of all the excitement. You're making as much vapor as you're putting back in the water, that kind of thing.
Fusion
Right.
that is,
But gravity is fueling it. It's gravity that's making it hot. And the hot environment is just fucking with all the pieces of all the matter. It's breaking it apart, putting it back together, breaking it apart, putting it back together.
portable and long-lasting is going to be almost like a BC AD transition for our species.
It's just so silly, too, when you just think of the preposterous expense of the technology. Like, somehow they're going to make this cold fusion thing. That ain't going to happen. So you got this terrible problem. This thing creates all kinds of hostile particles. So they think it's so damn clean. It's really not that goddamn clean. It's making all these high energy neutrons, got all kinds of issues. This ain't going to be no fucking free energy.
Energy will just no longer be a concern. People like you and I will tell our grandchildren, like, we used to have to plug things in and we used to have to, like, buy new batteries.
It's just ridiculous that they think they're going to make this plasma safe. It ain't going to happen.
And fill our cars up with fuel and pay bills. And there were limits to what we could do when it came to big, large-scale projects like space exploration or, running computers.
Some self-sustaining. They think they're going to make a self-sustaining, intensely hot plasma. That's just going to keep doing its thing. And we don't have to put any fuel in. It's just ridiculous.
They got too hot. We had to build wind farms, and it was expensive. And now it's like there's no limit.
There's also, if we did manage to crack fusion, a lot of the big existential questions that we've really been troubling ourselves with for the last few decades, essentially they disappear.
See, all of it, that doesn't matter because, frankly, we're just becoming so good at most of our technology now runs, an iPhone, all this kind of stuff. And, so in some ways, we're becoming more and more efficient. And the only thing using electricity now are stupid things like blowing up rockets and, AI server farms.
Overnight, right? Like desalination becomes really, really possible. Stripping salt out of water is something that we can do. It's just really energy expensive. Then there's no shortage of clean water across the entire Earth. Also, taking carbon out of the atmosphere, suddenly becomes something that we can do really, really easily. Fusion has no byproduct that, it's like the opposite of nuclear fission, the nuclear power stations that we have at the moment, where the waste is extremely toxic for many, many thousands of years after we've finished with it. Plus, you are essentially sitting on effectively a fragile atomic bomb that you have to control very carefully.
Yep.
Fusion is the opposite. You leave fusion be and it fizzles out into nothing. It's extremely safe.
So bullshit. So that's just bullshit. High energy neutrons aren't extremely safe.
Has no dangerous byproducts and could effectively give us unlimited free energy. Yeah, that one would be good.
Yeah,
Okay, if your theory is right, if your theory that somehow fusing hydrogen into helium somehow makes energy.
Right. And it would be philosophically so profound that everything on Earth is powered by the sun ultimately. Mm-hmm. The sun warms up the air and causes the wind. It causes the currents in the ocean. It's how the plants grow. It's how we, then eat the plants and get energy. But if we...
And that's just the silly photons, which is, a tiny percentage of the amount of energy is the visible light. But whatever.
Had fusion here on Earth, we would have brought the sun to us. We would have graduated from needing a star to not needing one. And I think that's a big stage in the evolution of intelligent life.
And it's also the ultimate sort of message of optimism because we know that it works. We know that it works.
You also know that fission works. So, it just, you have to do it right? So there's all kinds of examples of it done small a scale that works perfectly well. Bunch of nuclear submarines, nuclear aircraft carriers, all kinds of stuff. So we know we can do it right. That's all. You do it right, it's not a big deal. The amount of waste product you create is, almost trivial in terms of its amount.
Because this is how energy is generated by the sun. We are effectively fusion creatures, as we all.
So again, they all, they just keep saying this. So there's no accounting for the fact that gravity is what ignites the sun. The sun without gravity is not going to burn. Just a fact. You have no pressure then, you have no heat, you have no nothing. So nothing happens without gravity causing it to happen.
Already, exactly as you describe. I'm going to go something slightly smaller. You know what? You win with fusion. If we get there, great, but we're not there yet. So at the moment, it's just still a pipe dream, Michael. I'm going to go for something we've already got. I'm going to go for CRISPR. There was this research into bacteria, right? Into how the immune systems of bacteria work, and they were studying these kind of repeating DNA sequences, and they realized that what this particular bacteria was able to do was effectively chop out little bits of DNA and then make replacements in it. This is sort of blue sky research. But then this other group of scientists were there's something really interesting in that you can basically edit DNA. You can go in and you can snip a bit out and change it for what you want it to be. And so they effectively created this new technology called CRISPR, which stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. And it has allowed them to I mean, quite literally, edit genes. And like, up until now, this thing has been phenomenally impactful in our understanding of medicine, but also our ability to fight new diseases, essentially.
So, yeah, there's no evidence of that. So far, big fail on the fight new diseases front. So whatever that even meant. Oh, God. All right, so not much here in the old comments. Let's see. Let's see here. Life might be common in the Pushiverse, but I hope sentience is exclusive to Earth. So again, I don't think it's common. Life is, but whatever. Me too, 67. Okay, whatever all that means. So yes, you people are really useless. Wow. Yeah, I thought you were a little bit useless, but you have a whole new expansive. Oh, there's only 4 of you, so that's the reason. Okay. Well, that's just not good enough. I guess we might as well finish this shit, right? Yeah, so let's finish this shit. And get out of here.
There is one example of sickle cell anemia, which this incredibly serious genetic condition in which your hemoglobin are not shaped. Normally, they're shaped like sort of like a half moon, right? Like a sickle cell, essentially. And it can be really, really damaging. It's particularly prevalent in certain populations, and it's life limiting. It's a really, really serious illness. But with the advent of CRISPR, we have been able to essentially create a one-shot treatment where you can go in. And I mean, there's other stuff on top of this. Maybe we'll do an episode about this at some point or another. But you can go in and you can edit the genes of a person who was born with sickle cell anemia in order that they never have to suffer from the repercussions of that disease again.
All right. Well, I haven't heard of this miracle cure because I don't really know how you do all your genes and all this bullshit. So I don't know how every cell knows not to reproduce the way it reproduced. It would have to be mostly just your bone marrow or something. So I don't know. It just sounds like interferon. It sounds like a little bit oversold.
It's really pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And by editing DNA, we are creating ourselves. With fusion, we become the son, but with CRISPR, we become the mother.
Oh, brother, gross. So we'll be doing the eugenic Nazi thing. They'll be fun. No, it won't.
There are 2 really huge things that I think are related in a deep way.
What's that Oppenheimer thing? I become God.
Yeah, I have become death.
That's it.
Destroyer of worlds. He was a bit dramatic.
He was a bit dramatic.
Lately, I've heard a lot of people say he kind of knew that quote would oops, blame me for it. Guess I'm kind of cool though, right? I love this meme because it shows the big dramatic lapidary quote from Oppenheimer. Oh, I am become death. And then, you've got Truman over there being like, dude, I'm the one who dropped the bomb, not you. And then you've got von Neumann being like, what are you saying? I think you're trying to confess a sin because you want credit for it.
And I'll be honest with you.
I don't think any of this has anything to do with the reality. I think obviously these people were glib motherfuckers because they didn't really consider that maybe there's a better way to convince Japan that it's lost the war than to burn up a bunch of people who weren't even combatants.
Von Neumann, out of all of them, was by some distance the smartest. So.
Well, that's why he's on the far right end of this spectrum.
Can we do an episode on von Neumann one point? Because, oh my God, that man, he is. Holy moly. We'll leave you there then with some grand quotes from Oppenheimer and us, Michael and Hannah, just taking him down.
And as always, if you want to reach out, you can email us at therestiscience@goalhanger.com. And if you want to...
Goalhanger.com. So I guess I'll have to just send them an email saying, boy, you're really weak-ass, lame motherfuckers. I mean, they deleted my reference to my video response to their other video. So they're pussies. Well, both of them are pussies. Anyway, this is such tripe.
To hear more from us, go to therestis.com/science to sign up for our newsletter.
Well, that ain't gonna happen. Oh, fuck. I hate this planet. Just hate it here. Hate it. Hate every insufferable minute of it. All right, anyway, but I'll do my job. Defend reason and logic and evidence and facts and the truth against all these religious kooks. Ugh. So, till next time and such and so forth and whatnot.